lounging, son.
All right, welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name is Ryan,
And I'm Manny.
and we are at the final issue of Rob Liefeld's New Mutants run. Very excited to finally get into this. We started with issue 87. There was a couple times where we didn't necessarily go through the exact issues because Rob didn't draw it. That was the whole kind of idea behind going through these, but we still threw them on the channel. So, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Check out that playlist. There's a whole Liefeld playlist going through a lot of his comics. So go check it out. Check out some of the other stuff on the channel. There's an interview with Rob as well. And yeah, I'm super stoked to finally talk about this. I couldn't find my first printing. So instead of searching any longer, I bought this third printing. And I'm not mad at it. I kind of dig the white background with like the silver.
The silver, yeah.
It's pretty dope. I don't think I've ever seen this one in person, actually. I think it's the first time. So
I think I have, but there's just something about that classic purple that I don't know. It's probably nostalgia, but I love the way that one looks.
I love the way it looks. I'm not saying I like this better, but I dig it.
It is cool. It is cool, and I like the kind of sheen on it. Yeah, yeah.
As you can see, we got the basically what's now going to make up the future of X-Force here. We got, Shatterstar Feral, who made a little bit brief appearances. I love his double sword right here, dude. It's so dope. And
I've always loved that, man.
It's funny that we're talking about this too, because there's been a lot of like talk on the internet. I know you've seen it, where people are like saying that Rob stole the idea for Shatterstar from somebody
Whatever,
else.
dude.
And
people are so
they're idiots.
Yeah.
They're absolute idiots, dude. Like, it's clear that he even has the fucking receipts. He shows it that it was a design that was originally maybe it was going to go to Longshot, and he kind of reworked it from there because Longshot ended up looking different. They're the same race. They come from the same planet, So I really hate the internet trolls. That's besides the point. We're here to talk about this epic conclusion to this run that leads us into X-Force. This one is fucking dope. There's so much dope art in this book. We see Warpath Cable running. There's an alarm going on, and then boom.
I love this spread, bro. I mean, like, I just remember picking up this issue off the racks, the spinner racks, and like I was already so in on this run that like I had already known what the cover of this was gonna look like. So I was like, every time I would go into a 7-Eleven, I was scanning the fucking rack to see if I saw that purple. And when I did, dude, I just remember like the excitement I felt was like very, very rarely repeated in my comic book collecting days.
Yeah. I know. I don't get as, it's like, there's still some stuff that gets me hyped,
Yeah.
There is still some, but I feel like it's like few and far between where I have that like anticipation. I think the most recent one would probably be Transformers that I can think
that
of.
was a good one too.
Like, just like waiting for especially because like he dropped that on us well before it was announced. So we were sitting on that knowledge waiting for the announcement to come, and
it was hard to stay quiet with that shit too, bro.
It was, dude. And I've had to stay quiet with some stuff too. The Jason Aaron Turtles. I knew about it for like 7 months before it got announced. That was hard. That was very difficult to keep under. But anyways, yeah, like the hype of this run and the hype of X-Force, it's like he just kept building momentum and he kept delivering. And I love Shatterstar. I think he's an awesome character. I love the design. His weapon is really dope. This is like one of the most action-packed issues, I think, of this New Mutants run, hands down.
Oh, dude, there's like action almost on every page, and it's just like one nonstop, like fucking long ass action scene if you think about it.
Yeah. I love how he calls him a mojo sniffer. That shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the coloring is dope too in this.
Yeah, man. I do. I love it. The greens, the pinks, the purples, all that good stuff, dude, in the background. Yeah. And we don't know much about Shatterstar. So, and I like that, a lot of these like characters that just pop up, you don't have the backstory. You kind of like flesh them out as you're going through. He's fighting Warpath, he's getting taken down. Here comes Domino in the mix.
I mean, I believe you've mentioned it in that, like, and I had forgotten. I mean, there's so much mystery involved in this entire run of New Mutants, and like so many like cool characters being introduced that like it's super inventive, and I mean, every issue had a new character, a new mystery to be revealed. a new cliffhanger, you know, like a new concept. And like, I mean, this issue is a perfect example of that.
And I love that, like how we get like these different angles and it keeps flipping. Like it has him
Yeah,
facing there. Then we look from here from this angle. Then we get like another shot here from Domino. And they're just questioning like, how did you get here? And it's like I'm not required to answer that, woman. And then boom, straight into a fight scene again.
cool little 4 panel page, you know, like
Yeah.
I love the movement in this is great, man.
Oh, it's fantastic, dude. The choreography, yeah.
I love that close up of Shatterstar at the bottom there too, you know.
Oh hell yeah, dude. And I love, you get Cannonball coming in out of the mix. It's like, we gave you a chance to talk, and he's like, words are the resort of the weak. I've always let my actions speak for me. And then you flip, and he fucking ricochets this blast right back at Cannonball, and it goes straight through his blast field, which is kind of crazy. And then he's even taken back because he's like, how are you still alive? And then he calls them Mojo
Mojo Kissers
Kissers.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, so funny.
Again, dude, the magenta on here is great, dude.
I love how, like, in the middle of all this, then you just see Cable pop up from the background. Oh, dude, so good. And then his eye just starts, it gets like the glow just seems to get bigger as he get the
Yeah,
close up.
it's so cinematic. I like when Rob gets loose too, like on this page, you know, like there's like a fluidity to like the line work that gives
This
it like a
this
nice,
shot right
nice.
here, dude, when Cable grabs him and just rams his face into his knee.
It's so good.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because you're not seeing Cable in, like, what we come to know as his, like, I hate calling it his costume, but his costume, right? Like his outfit. This isn't his
Yeah,
normal one. You don't have all the shoulder pads. He's just got this regular vest on, pants. He does have a belt with some pouches, but it's not like his whole regalia, dude.
right. Yeah, yeah. This is like his chill outfit
Yeah.
almost.
This to me too is like it's a classic Rob panel right here.
Oh,
This
like
overhead
before.
shot. And then dude, Shatterstar's characterization is so great too, because like he's basically you're getting a couple little pieces. He'll just throw a couple tidbits in the middle of this
Yeah,
fight. He's like, I'm Shatterstar. I'm a blood warrior of the Cadre Alliance. I'm not to be made a fool of. He's like, you don't need help doing that, kid, but you certainly do need help in learning to keep your mouth shut. Boom, punch straight to the jaw, and then you just see the way his fucking like face takes it, dude. And he with his own sword. And then we see Farrell, dude, just creeping up in the fucking air ducts, which we saw her doing that in the
yeah,
last issue where you pointed out, I didn't even notice it, but how she was just up above spying on them in their like
yeah.
control room.
Pharaoh's really cool too. Again, like I
Yeah.
love like the color, the orange. You know, like a lot of bright colors, like prime. You know, it's such great design, man. And it was so exciting to see all this.
I like the call out too that she's like, oh, they work well together. They're like a family that fights together, stays together, and and again, we don't know much about her, but we're gonna learn why that kind of means something to her, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, like who she is and where she comes from.
Hmm.
And, you know, and Rob's tying this to like deep X-Men lore. You know, like you got Shatterstar coming from the Mojoverse.
Yeah.
Pharaoh, you know, spoiler alert, it's an old ass comic, but you should all know is a Morlock. You know,
Yeah.
so those are
Yeah.
like two like really deeply established and connected parts to the X-Men lore. You know, the Morlocks and Mojo. Like,
Yeah, and then Mask coming to get her back.
I love these soldiers too from the Mojoverse. I love the
Yeah.
way they look with like the spiked shoulder pads. They look like those wrestlers, like the Road Warriors. You know, like
Hmm. I
fucking
feel like
dope, dude.
I feel like the Mojo verse I don't know enough about. It's funny because we're talking about Shatterstar related to Longshot. Like I just picked up an old version of the Longshot trade because I've never read it
Oh,
before. So
so
I'm
good
fucking yeah, I'm very stoked to jump in it. That'd be a fun episode to go through
to do.
Longshot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, for sure.
Here we go. Fucking Shatterstar's recovering, coming out from that fucking jaw cracking punch that fucking Cable laid on him. What he said, what hit me? My fist and your sword on your face.
Cool page too with the tiny little figures at the top. You know, the white
Mhm.
background. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, Rob does a good job at that. Where like
yeah,
you don't have to put a lot of detail on the face, but he puts enough detail like on their clothing even to where it's
yeah,
not just
yeah,
like a blur. And then I love this. We get the backstory on, why Shatterstar's here. He's from the future, and it's because of something that he saw with Longshot and teaming with the X-Men. So he used that as a reason to come back. And I love his mojo.
Dude, I was gonna say the same thing. I mean, Rob is he said time and time again how him and the Image guys were really influenced by Arthur Adams. And Arthur Adams obviously illustrated that long shot miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I like the little cameo of the X-Men of that period there on the third panel, and like,
Yeah.
those are like the Arthur Adams X-Men. Like, that Wolverine is classic. It's great, man. And yeah, he does a great job drawing Mojo. Probably my favorite Mojo after Arthur Adams.
And I like how they do this, like this flashback, like everything's in yellow. You only have like these characters with their normal colorization,
Yes,
and
good
everything else
call.
is different to signify the flashback. And it's cool. Like, look at that. In 2 pages, really. I mean, you got like a couple comments from Shatterstar during the fight, but like it's really just like a page and a panel
Yeah,
where we
man,
get
it's
the
dope as
backstory, and
shit,
that's all
dude.
you
Yeah.
need. And then he blames that for why he was like disoriented and why he fucking was able to get taken down. And he even comments like, "You don't look like the X-Men I've seen them." Yeah, we're not. We're better. Fucking Cable, dude. And then Boom Boom fucking goes because she's fucking hungry, and that's where she runs into Feral, dude.
Great little sequence.
I love
Again,
it.
like,
Yep. And I love
great
how in
layout.
her head she's like time bomb, por favor. And she's like, as she's talking in between what she's saying, she's counting down. And then the bomb straight at Feral. And again, like you don't really you get little tidbits, dude. She basically in one panel tells like why she's there. She's a Morlock living in tunnels under Manhattan, and she was running away from them because Mask from the Morlocks wants to kill me. Please help, right? And that's all you need. And this, dude, I love this like immediate team up with Shatterstar and the rest of the crew. You got Warpath Domino on his side. Great fucking panel
Yeah,
right here.
like they immediately go into battle mode, dude. And I love that center panel too, with them like being like kind
Oh,
of
this,
flanked on
yeah,
both ends. Yeah, it's so dope, dude.
yeah. I'm telling you,
Another
dude, the
great fight
action in
scene.
this, man.
That kick that Domino's throwing. Again, that other panel down there with the green. I love it,
Hmm.
dude. The speed lines and that, the manga influence with
You
all the
know,
speed lines. And
sometimes you don't need to like, oh, I don't want to say over color, but it's okay to do stuff like this.
yeah, man, of
I'm not
course it
gonna
is.
feel I'm not gonna feel cheated in
No,
a
no.
comic book if this is done. Like I don't need everything to be like because sometimes it kind of takes away from like this being like this, right? Colored like that, I mean, makes these other ones pop out a little bit more, right? And this isn't something you
Yep.
need to be focused on because they're tiny, they're like you get what you need visually by seeing their shapes, but then these pop more because of that. And I love Warpath, dude. I fucking love
I do
Warpath.
too, man. I loved his design, like how
Hmm.
hulking and big he was. Like,
Yeah. Just this
all these
kathump as he's
all
fucking
these characters felt like my characters. Like,
yeah. And all the while that's going on, we get so it's crazy because we have like everything's converging on them, basically.
yeah, yeah. It's a bunch of shit happening all at once, and it's
Yeah.
it's like there's a lot going on, dude. And this issue is a great example of like the title of it is "The End Is the Beginning," and it's like, so what a perfect title for this issue, because it is the end of something that's been going on for years, but it is also the beginning. And Rob does such a good job of ending and starting something. Like, it's really really good, man.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed reading it again after all these years. I hadn't read it in a number of years, and I forget how much fun it was, and I still had the same amount of fun reading it. Like, fucking, what, this is
I,
going on
s-
40 years.
I say it all the time, dude. Like you can say like it's a product of its time. People say that, like I will battle anybody. Like if you can just like put yourself in the headspace of how you felt when you first read these comic books. Maybe some comic books don't hold up. Maybe you don't necessarily get the same feeling. But
Yeah,
I don't know. Every issue that you and I have talked about with New Mutants, I've had a blast reading and I've enjoyed it just as much as I did when I was younger. And he was like firing on all cylinders at this point, dude. I still think like this and like the early Youngblood is like some of my favorite of his stuff. Because there's a
yeah.
certain type of energy, man. Dude, he was fucking in his early 20s producing this stuff. Like, it's just crazy to think about.
I think this may be one of my favorite Rob Liefeld issues.
I think so too. I didn't own issue 100 up until I think it was right before the pandemic. I bought it because I was trying to, like, at that point, you know, uh, fill in the gaps of the run. So I haven't read it since then. And then obviously I was missing some when we decided to do this, and I wanted to go through the actual single issue. So now I have it complete. It is. It's a blast to read, man. And I can't wait to,
Absolutely.
I know I know there's already an episode of X Force, so we're not gonna go through it again. I'm still gonna read it again
Yeah,
as we
same.
lead into issue two. And maybe I'll just like we'll talk about it briefly, as we, for anybody that didn't watch the episode I did on issue one, but oh man, I can't wait to get into some of those X Force issues, dude. This is fantastic, dude, too, because like you see Farah like at moments, this is what's crazy about her character, is at moments she seems kind of like docile, almost like tame,
Yeah.
but then there's this, dude, and she fucking goes nuts, straight
What
berserker.
a great panel too, with the speed lines and like the word balloon being all like the way it's drawn, and just like the blood coming out, the
And
noise,
I
like
love Cannonball's, like he's like reminds me of Wolverine and Sabretooth, and then Boom Boom's like and Manson, like Charles
Manson. Yeah.
Manson, you know? Yeah, dude, I love her. Like I love how big her hair is.
Yeah, I do too, man. It's cool.
It's fucking
It's like
crazy.
Bride of Frankenstein-ish.
So now, like I said, everything's converging, right? Like you got Mask over here. He's on the hunt. Fucking now she just took down one of those people, one of the Mojo's soldiers that's going after her. And she's like this syrupy junkie, he's gushing out a human blood, and they're like, oh, the guy's going after Shatterstar, and then we fucking flip, and you see that. I love this, dude. I love how they're flying out of this portal. This fucking full
Dude,
page
and this is
splash.
an amazing page, man.
It's great. You see how fucking massive Warpath is, especially when you see him here. And then I know that they're more in the background, but still, like
Well, I
he's
mean, look at this, the guys
huge.
grabbing his arms and shit,
Yeah,
like,
this is awesome, dude. And I like how they're each like Domino's going this way, Shatterstar's coming out this angle, Warpath is coming at us.
yeah, it's awesome composition, man. And Warpath is kind of centering everything there in the middle. Like,
This fucking kick with Shatterstar right here.
oh, one of my favorite moments is coming up right now.
Next page.
Yeah. What an amazing fucking double spread with the panels there
Dude.
at the bottom. I mean, I specifically remember seeing this as a kid and thinking this is one of the most badass things I've ever seen,
Dude,
man.
I forgot about this. So when I turned the page, it was like I
It,
was reading it for the first time because like I just completely like this for some reason this panel went out of my mind because I did not pick this up off the stands. I read it much later, after it had come
Mhm.
out, but the way he fucking stabs straight through and then you have this and then the fucking onomatopoeia that just like closes in, this fucking pink background that just makes them pop. Dude, it is fucking amazing.
And I've been doing some comics writing lately, and I've been, Adam, the artist I'm working with, we talk a lot about the importance of the page turn in comics, which is, something that's often easy to overlook when you're reading a comic. But look at what a great example of the page turn this is.
But there's
Like
something at the end that should have been a page turn, and it was not. And
that.
I was kind of bummed by it. And we'll get to it
Uh,
when we get there.
yeah, we'll get to it, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
this is one of the best examples of a page turn that I can
Yes.
think of. Yeah.
It's not utilized as much anymore. I don't think there's much emphasis put on it. At least like I can't remember the last time I was reading like something new where I'm like I flipped the page. Maybe Transformers with
Yeah,
Optimus when he had Megatron's fucking arm
yeah, that
attached.
shit was badass.
That was dope.
Dude, and I love these 4 panels on the bottom too, like that panel at the end with the cable shooting Bland, like
Dude, fucking ruthless, man. He doesn't even hesitate. That's fucking crazy. And then he just standing over. I like this with the smoking gun, and it's just like going over the other panel.
yeah, it's badass, dude. This shit is all so good.
Fucking turns the gun on Mask, and he just tells him basically get the fuck out. And now, like, okay, everybody's rested, showered. Now what are they gonna do? Everybody knows where they're at, and they can't stay there any longer. And this
Yeah,
is this is what leads them to become, the team they're gonna become. And he mentions it. His dream is dead. Xavier's dream. It's time to face reality. You learn how to control your powers. It's time to start using them.
I mean, it's such a natural evolution of what would happen to an
It is.
organization like this, like and X Force is such a good title. It's like an extension of what they were, a more, it's such a great concept and it's executed so well. it's easy to overlook because it became such a huge part of the '90s. But this is a solid concept, and the proof is in the mixture, man. Because we still have X Force comics today, you
That
know,
I
and
was just gonna say it. What other team from back then has had the longevity? New Mutants has been in and out.
yep,
X Factor was gone for the longest time. I can't think of another X-Men team like that wasn't called X-Men or Uncanny X. You know, like
yeah,
X-Force has the
X,
longest or the most consistent
yeah.
publishing. I can't think of the
There's
right word.
always an X Force
It's been
around,
the
and
most
they, you know,
consistent
and
title. Yeah,
yeah, and it's such a great catchy title too.
it's
Of all the X titles that they've tried to over the years, it's like, you know, other than X-Men, it's the one that stuck the most, I think, and the one that has permeated the popular culture the most too.
I definitely think it's the name I like the best. I mean,
Yeah,
X Factor's okay, but X Force just sounds dope.
yeah, dude. It's perfectly puts it in the title what they are, man. You know.
Uh-huh. And I really love this moment between, Cannonball and Boom Boom. They're the last of the originals, man.
Yeah,
They're
dude. You know, people say, "Oh, yeah, Rob's like, you know, yeah, he's great at all these action shots." But look at here, a nice, quiet, subtle moment. You know, like really emotional. Like you said, like it packs a wallop because it is the last of the you know, Cannonball has been there since the beginning. It's such a great way to end it with them too. A very tender moment after all the action we've seen. It's
Mhm.
great storytelling, man.
Yep.
Rob is an amazing storyteller.
And this too, this scene as they're flying away, and you just see the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters sign, and it just gets closer and closer and pans out, and then it just ends with a beginning. But we get a prologue. We're getting close to the page that I said should have been a page turn. But
Yeah, yeah.
we see Strife fucking hulking out. We see the MLF back with fucking Skids and Rusty, which I still think are two of the worst fucking names I've ever heard for a fucking character. Skids.
Yeah.
It's so close to Skid Mark that I just can't. I can't
Oh my
help.
god,
I just
I hadn't thought of that. Now
I
I
can't
can't
help
help
but
that.
think of that every time I see Skids in this fucking
Yeah.
book. This is where we're gonna. I mean, this is what I think should have been on the fucking other side. It should have been over here, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if Rob had intended for it to be the other side. I'm curious. I don't think I've ever heard him mention it. But not to say that this wasn't still a dope reveal, which we see that, Strife is Nathan Summers, a version.
Yeah.
So it is a cool reveal. I mean, it definitely leading into X-Force. If this doesn't whet your appetite, we don't know what will. So it is a
I
really good
mean,
way to end it for sure.
that shit blew my mind when I read it as a kid, man. So
That's the only gripe. The only gripe I have with this issue is I wish that this would have been maybe flip it, put the letters pages here, but then maybe somebody doesn't look on the back. I would always look on the back. So I
yeah,
just think it would have
I
been
look at
cool.
every page of it.
Yeah. And then I want to call this out because I've also been seeing Rob's, like combating people about like Deadpool's popularity. There are two fucking letters in here that talk about how they want more Deadpool. And these letters would have had to have been written well in advance of the time this published. So if this is issue 100 and Deadpool was in issue 98, that means those letters went out right after that comic came out. There's somebody, right here, right? Like he's like, next, Deadpool, another visually appealing individual with some character to him too. Please don't let this be the last we see of him. And then in the next letter, it says, this book needs Deadpool. I don't think I can get by without a monthly dose of this character. If not in this book, use him somewhere else. Please don't let him fade from sight. He is way too interesting. And then until
And
Deadpool's own comic hits issue 100, make mine Marvel. And then it even says it. We promise you'll be seeing Deadpool again. So the popularity was there from the very beginning. It didn't come later like some, revisionists like to fucking throw in the mix. I just wanted to call that out because I did read the letters after I read this issue. Great, great, great ending. I loved going through each issue of New Mutants with you, dude. It's been a fucking blast.
oh, dude,
Um,
yeah, man.
I can't wait for X-Force, dude. I'm very excited. I'm very close to just going and grabbing them all and reading them today, but I'll space out my reading. But go check out our playlist, the Liefeld playlist. It has all the New Mutants episodes that we did on there. There's some other great Liefeld episodes as well. come back when we do X-Force. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, we're out.